everyone. I'm Angela, and I'm going to be talking about situational leadership tonight on this fair Valentine's Day Eve. So I hope that you enjoy learning about this. I want to start by giving you a little bit of background of what situational leadership is. It is a model to develop people, specifically to develop your employees, and it was developed by the Ken Blanchard companies. And the reason why it's important is because it's a tool that's really going to help you maximize your performance. And I want to go in and tell you how you can do that. I think all of us are in an MBA program because we're interested in being leaders in our organization. So there are 3 skills that can really help you maximize the development of your employees and maximize the performance of your business. And that is diagnosis, flexibility, and partnering for performance. And I'm going to walk you through those 3 skills of a situational leader now. So I want to start with diagnosis. An important thing to know about being a situational leader is that it always starts with a task. It has nothing to do with the age or your rank in the company. So whether you are, whether you just started your career, you may be more competent on a task compared to someone who's been in their role for a long time. And I'll explain that as we go on. So the importance of diagnosis is identifying your colleague's development level. And I want to start by showing you this model and start with an enthusiastic beginner. An enthusiastic beginner is someone who comes into a task and has not had any experience doing it before, but they're eager to learn. So I'll give you an example of myself. I have no experience with income statements at all, but I'm an enthusiastic learner and beginner, and I want to learn about them. So I need to be taught that, and I'll go into how you can go about teaching someone like me that. The next one is a disillusioned learner, and that's someone who may have experienced doing a task before, but they're not very confident in doing it. Maybe it's not what they expected when they did it the first time. The next is a capable but cautious performer, and this one is someone who has done a task before, but they're not very confident in themselves and their ability to do it. Maybe they're scared to try it on their own without having people help them along the way. And finally is a self-reliant achiever. And that is someone who has done the task before and is very confident in their ability to do that particular task. I'm going to pick on Dan, and yes, I checked with him before class to make sure. So I gave the example as that I am an enthusiastic beginner when it comes to income statements. Dan, as one of our resident experts as a CPA, would be considered a self-reliant achiever if he was given the task of creating an income statement. All right, so once you determine where your employees are in their development level, the next thing is to take that development level and then figure out how you can match your leadership style to best teach that individual the specific task. So I'll walk you through that. The first is the enthusiastic beginner, and I want to go back to the income statement example for me. If I'm working on that, I need a leader who can direct me. They can coach me along the way, tell me the specific things I need to do to complete that task. The next, for the disillusioned learner, again, they have some experience doing the task, but they need direction, they need encouragement, praising, they need you to clarify the task for them so they can complete it. The next is the capable but cautious learner, and they need supporting from their leader. They need that encouragement to know that they are capable of doing the task and just the affirmation that they have what it takes to complete it. And finally, it's the self-reliant achiever, and they just need delegating. They need to know that you trust them to do the job that you've tasked them to do. So in Dan's case, if he was creating the income statement, his leader needs to just let him do his thing and trust that he's going to deliver on that project. One of the dangers with determining your leadership style is avoiding the mismatch. And so I've showed this chart to you, and I'll give you an example. Dan, they keep using you. This is great. I hope you're enjoying this. That is, if I decided as a leader that I was going to direct Dan on completing his income statement, that would be over supervision. He doesn't need that much direction on a given task. Likewise, if a manager came to me and delegated to me and said, Angela, create an income statement and just set me off to go, that would be the danger of under supervision. I wouldn't know what to do or how to approach the task. So a key thing that I hope you take away from this is leadership style. It's really important that you match up your leadership style with someone's development level and avoid under or over supervision on a given task. All right, so once you've determined what your task is and what the development level of your individual colleague is, and you've modified your leadership style to address the development level, the last step is just partnering for performance. And that's really bringing it all together. It's where you agree on the task, agree on where your individual or your colleague is in their development, and you modify your leadership style to meet that, to meet the individual where they are. And finally, you agree on how often you want to stay in touch. How often they need your feedback on the particular task that they are performing. So just to bring it home, there are 3 easy steps that you can take to help your employees and your colleagues someday, if you're managers, to really maximize their performance in your company. And the first is diagnosis. Identify where someone is on a given task. And again, keep in mind, it's the task. It has nothing to do with your years of experience. And the second thing is match your leadership style to the development level of the individual. And finally, partner with that individual on performance. Agree on the next steps you should take. And if you do these 3 things, there's a chance that you will obtain the status of the world's best boss. Maybe you'll even get a cool mug like that. And I just want to use the laser pointer. All right, are there any questions? Yes.
How do you distinguish, I mean, the D2 and D3 were so close. Mm-hmm. So, like, what are some other ways you could distinguish? Because you said that D2 is someone with low, or is very hesitant and isn't really sure. And D3 is also very hesitant.
So D2 is more of someone whose expectations haven't been met. So the task isn't what they thought it was going to be. Whereas D3 is they are capable of doing it, but they're just lacking confidence in their ability to do it on their own. Does that distinguish it?
Yeah, I got you. So how would you move someone from D2 to D3?
Well, I think that's something that comes over time. Again, if you match your leadership style, so if we're talking about a D2,
yeah.
It's encouraging, praising, clarifying,
okay.
Really providing that type of support so you build them up so they can move to the next development level on the task.